Hello, welcome to another week of Astro Highlights. I'm your host, Angela Alston, and this week we are going to be looking at where luck is at for us between December 31st and January 6th. So, a lucky week. But before we do that, there's a narrative activity for Capricorn season up over on my blog. It's remembering who values you. So the planetary progress of December 31st, 2023 through January 6th, 2024. Happy New Year, everyone. The sun is in Sagittarius, traveling from 9 degrees 21 Capricorn to 16:29. The moon is 28:05 Leo, traveling to 22:48 Scorpio. Mercury is in Sagittarius, beginning the week retrograde at 22:26, stationing direct, and then ending the week at 23:58 Sagittarius. Venus is in Sag, starting at 1:48, ending at 10:19. Mars is in Sagittarius at the very end, traveling from 26:48, entering Capricorn, and then ending the week at 2:01 Capricorn. Jupiter is in Taurus, traveling from 5 degrees 34, stationing direct, ending the week 5 degrees 40 Taurus. That's a big deal. Jupiter has been retrograde for a long time now. It's felt like a long time. And then Saturn is in Pisces, traveling 3 degrees 11 to 3 degrees 49. That's what the week looks like. And so some of the things we're going to talk about this week: Mercury stations direct, and then Jupiter stations direct. Very close proximity to each other. And they both have a lot to do with the way that we think and the way that we envision the future and the way that we plan and the way that we communicate. So having them both turn direct at the same time, it's a nice opportunity moment, sort of refocus our lives and our immediate thoughts and the bigger picture. You know, Mercury is the immediate thoughts, Jupiter the sort of bigger picture, but around what's happening in our life, in our future, our immediate future. Mars is entering Capricorn, where it is ready for any kind of challenge. You know, Mars in Capricorn is that energy that can do hard things. There's really no task too ambitious or out of scope for Mars in Capricorn. It is very effective energy that executes, really gets things done. Venus is squaring Saturn this week, and then Mercury is conjoining Mars, and both are squaring Neptune. And then we're going to look at what's lucky this week. Where's the luck falling in the chart? So Mercury stations direct January 1st. Mercury is in Sagittarius as it is stationing direct. Sag is ruled by Jupiter, which is also newly stationing direct. So you have Mercury and its sign ruler no longer in this retrograde looking over the past, whether it's the far past, the deep past, or the immediate past. Now the mind, the thoughts are getting focused on big picture alignment. Big picture is Jupiter, but the really getting focused is where Mercury comes in, because Mercury rules the details. This is a time of great synchronicities and a feeling of really getting unstuck, right? So Jupiter is in Taurus, and there's sort of the two areas where you might have been feeling stuck. One is whatever house Taurus falls in the whole house system in your chart, or in any house system, whatever house Taurus is. And then also wherever Sagittarius is. Getting unstuck in those areas, seeing our current problems with fresh insights. That's what having both of those stationing, Mercury and Jupiter stationing direct this week, it's a great way to kind of begin a new year. You know, we are really here now. And having them both happen at the same time it's reinforcing, I think. And then, as I mentioned, Mars enters Capricorn on January 4th, and Mars in Capricorn will soon be picking up a trine from this Jupiter in early Taurus that is now direct. Mars in Capricorn will be picking up this trine while Jupiter and Saturn themselves have a nice sextile. So all of this kind of comes together in a signature of really supported timing for action. You know, Mars in Capricorn takes bold actions. They do the work, you know, they follow it through, but it's also an energy that is very proactive, initiatory. And here it could be in a situation of initiating a lot of work or a huge project. Something that will take a tremendous amount of effort, but will allow you, your team, your organization to be in a higher place at the end of it. That energy is initiating this first week of January. It's really hardworking, but it's not hardworking in a futile way. You know, that's what makes Mars in Capricorn so nice, is you feel like you are working towards something, that you're striving in meaningful ways. This is kind of a different energy. Venus square Saturn. Mars in Capricorn, there's this feeling of being powerful. Venus square Saturn, it's kind of the antidote to that, because a square to Saturn, especially when Saturn is in Pisces, it's like a wet blanket. You know, it's a wall, but it's a wall in a wet blankety kind of way. Venus is in Sagittarius. That's a very fiery, visionary, excited, and, you know, Saturn, which always rules the real, you know, world in Pisces, might be slowing that down. Saturn always makes things more difficult than it feels like it needs to be. And so Venus and whatever Venus is signifying in a horary chart or a mundane chart, is that square to Saturn, it's not that it's not a deal killer. You know, squares can be worked through, but a square with Saturn, it doesn't create the same kind of fun friction that, say, a square to Mars or even Mercury might create. Squares to Saturn just feel kind of disappointing. It can often be a delay. And when it comes to Venus, a delay in something that you were going after, a delay in some sort of aesthetic gratification, romance, certainly. And a square to Saturn can be about misunderstanding the roles and boundaries around something in a way that's kind of pokey. That's a square. It hurts. You notice it, you feel it. Squares can be kind of bring about some crisis situations sometimes. And when you have that square between Venus, which wants to connect and wants to relate, with a square to Saturn and Pisces, there might be sort of some ambiguous limitations, as well as sometimes this feeling of having to police your own boundaries to kind of keep yourself safe. And that can be kind of a weird, uncomfortable, energy. And now we have Mars and Mercury, which are kind of teaming up in Sagittarius because they're conjoining. A conjunction between Mars and Mercury in Sag, which just on its own, on face value, a conjunction between Mars and Mercury in Sagittarius has some great potential and certainly some warnings that go along with it. It's a signature of overpromising, of exaggeration, of deception, but not always from an evil position. Telling the white lies, being wanting to protect somebody. But Mars square Neptune, and then Mercury square Neptune. The square to Neptune gets kind of amplified because it's in your thought patterns and what you think you're seeing in the actions around you. But Neptune does not always reflect clearly. It can be kind of a funhouse mirror. It can show you at first a scene exactly the way you want to see it, an idealized version. And then it can kind of distort things. Neptune has that dissolving, amorphous, it feels like anything can be possible. And when that's in positive sort of energetic channels, that can be a really magical thing. But when things square Neptune, that's coming up into a kind of a crisis situation with it. It is a Neptune that doesn't feel good. And if you're at the point where you're dealing with a Neptune that doesn't feel good, and that's what would be triggered by the square, that can really lead to some very confusing situations. Not being able to know what the source of truth is, Things just not being clear. And that is very dangerous for communication. So this week we have something that may not feel that bad in the moment, because Neptune has sort of an aestheticizing aspect, but which can really kind of create chaos down the road. This is a week where you want to really check your numbers. Make sure you get as many people's perspectives as possible. You really want to check your own thinking around things, because confusion and exaggeration is going to be hard to avoid when you have the Mars and Mercury conjunct in Sag, squaring Neptune in Pisces. So we started this last video, but it's finding your pot of gold, really trying to understand and unpack what luck looks like at any given time. I'm going to talk about what luck looks like this upcoming week. Because luck has a lot of different faces. It appears sometimes it's very quick, or it has the appearance of coming out of nowhere. Sometimes it's about synchronicities. Sometimes it's really watery. When I say that, I mean it's about intuition, listening to kind of your gut voice. And so one of the things that I want to do with you in 2024 is to really explore luck, how it shows up in your own individual chart and in the chart of the week. So here we have the chart of the week, and it includes a lot of the different asteroids that I use when I'm looking for luck, opportunity, victory, and things of that nature. So one of the main asteroids that I look at is Taishi. And Taishi is the goddess of luck. She, right now, even though it's not drawn, she is within a 2-degree trine to Saturn. And whenever something is bringing out the kind of positive aspects, which trines will do, and connections to something like luck, fortune, those are more positive manifestations. When it comes to Saturn, we're talking about timing. So Taishi, talking in relation to Saturn, it's about it being the right time for something. And it's also a kind of water luck. Taisha is in Cancer. Saturn is in Pisces. And so it's luck that is appearing the way water luck sometimes appears, is through intuition, right? It's through the emotional understandings. But that's a very nice signature. Timing. It's a lucky time for something. And it might be something that you've been waiting a long time for. Saturn often indicates something that you have put a real investment in. Now coming down here, we see Fortuna and Fama, fame and fortune, fame and luck, both at 19 degrees Capricorn, which is trine Uranus. And Uranus has a lot to do with luck, and specifically a certain kind of luck. And this is the luck that comes out of the blue, like a lightning bolt. This is what a lot of people kind of associate with luck. You know, and before and after type situation. And so we have that channel open this week between Uranus, sudden, and then fortune and fame. Now, this is going to be impacting people who have, you know, 19 Capricorn, give or take a couple of degrees, you know, like 17 to 21 Capricorn, but also 17 to 21 Taurus, 17 to 21 Virgo. We'll be making a grand trine with that. People who have 17 to 21 Cancer. And then 17 to 21 Libra or Aries are going to be squaring that. So that's kind of a juicy pattern we see this week. And then moving up here, we see bonus and champion. So winning at something, winning at something and getting a bonus. You know, bonus is kind of manna from heaven. It's just kind of, maybe you earned it, but you can't count on it. At 0 degrees Pisces, bonus and champion are conjunct Saturn and trine Taisha. So again, lucky timing, bonus and champion are right there, soaking that up. And it could be with the relationship to Saturn, a bonus that is well earned, right? That you've done the work for. Now is the time to be recognized for that. And then we have the asteroid blessing over here in Libra. So this can often be blessings of a Libran nature, which come down to often fairness, being treated in a humane way, a rational approach to human relationships, ideals, equality, justice. And so you have a blessing. And the reason that I'm calling it out is that it is within the 3 inches of the South Node. So this week we'll have the opportunity to manifest something that is kind of a blessing from the past. It could be a person, it could be an idea, it could be a memory, but some sort of blessing from probably rooted in our relationships with others, you know, the more I kind of think about it. So watch for that. And then down here, finally, Venus. She's going to end the week within 2 degrees of Abadantia. Abadantia, that was awkward. The asteroid that rules abundance. So that's what's going on this week. That's what's lucky. We have Taisha trine Saturn, which is calling forth luck of timing. Fortune and fame are at 19 degrees Capricorn, exactly trine to Uranus. And when something is trine to Uranus, anything can happen. It's a bolt out of the blue. The thing is that you're not expecting it. Then we have bonus and champion at 0 degrees Pisces, conjuncting Saturn. And that tends to indicate that this is a bonus which has been earned, right? A karmic Easter egg. The asteroid Bless is conjunct the South Node. That's another kind of karmic blessing from the past. And it could be either our past or the deep past. The South Node is a kind of profound, mysterious place. And then Venus is going to be coming closer and closer to abundance. And I hope that has a lot of really positive meanings in your life. And finally, Jupiter going direct in early Taurus. And Jupiter is always about the future. Taurus is early spring. Well, it's a spring energy, fixed earth, what's immediately growing in front of you. So Jupiter moving direct in early Taurus is about being able to refocus on your immediate future in the house that Taurus rules. And you'll see this direct movement of Jupiter through things just going in the right direction in a certain area of your life. This 5 degrees Taurus. And so I thought I'd kind of walk that through different, if you're born with Aries rising, then Jupiter's going to be moving direct, going direct in the 2nd house of resources and personal values. If you're born with Taurus rising, Jupiter's going to be going direct in your 1st house. This is going to be a refocusing on you specifically. It's going to be very vivid. Gemini rising, Jupiter is going to be going direct in the 12th house. This can actually feel like having the support of your ancestors, having sort of hidden sources of personal strength and support. Cancer rising, Jupiter's going direct in your 11th house. Your house of friendships, of network and affiliation. Leo rising, Jupiter going direct in Taurus in your 10th house. This is a really nice energy for Leo rising this winter and spring. House of career, what the public sees coming to light. Virgo rising, 9th house, house of travel, big ideas, and higher education, also legal entanglements. Your Libra rising, this is happening in your 8th house, house of karmic debts. Scorpio rising in your 7th house of relationships. Sagittarius rising in your 6th house of habits, work, kind of your daily grind. Capricorn rising. If you're a Capricorn rising, then Jupiter's going direct in your 5th house of creativity. That's also another really awesome placement. Capricorn and Leo rising that's very cool. If you're an Aquarius rising, Jupiter's going direct in your 4th house. That can be some sort of a move in the house, an expansion. Sometimes it can be as small as redecorating, taking on a big lawn project. Pisces rising in the 3rd house, the house of communication, the house of your neighborhood, The house of everything that is so close to you, sometimes you don't even clearly see it. It is your immediate surroundings. So you get a little Jupiter love. That's awesome. That's awesome for everybody. So to recap, Jupiter and Mercury are both turning direct this week. This will help with focusing on the big picture that you want for your life, and having the mental clarity to go for it. This go for it attitude is underscored by Mercury's meetup with Mars in Sagittarius. And the energy there can be, the sky is the limit. It is a dynamic, hopeful, aspirational pairing. But then this dynamic pairing squares Neptune. So someone somewhere might be pulling the strings and running the magic show, but you can't always see what's going on clearly, because Neptune likes to beguile. And then we have Venus in Sagittarius, talk about beguiling, squaring Saturn in Pisces. This can be a crisis that is creatively resolved through connecting high hopes with compassion, respecting emotional boundaries, and seeking to understand the sources of someone else's nostalgia. Mars enters Capricorn, ready for a challenge this week. Bring it on, Mars in Capricorn says. And what's lucky? Well, Taisha is trying Saturn. That has a lot to do with the luck of timing, it being the right time for something. And with Saturn involved, it could be something that has been a long time coming. Fortuna and Fama are trine Uranus. So this bolts out of the blue around fortune and fame for those who have 17 to 21 Capricorn. That's who will feel it the strongest. But also Taurus, Virgo for those trines. And then Cancer for the opposition. Aries, Libra for the squares. And so if you have any sensitive points, this is the sign that you've been waiting for. Go for it. This is the week to go for it. And Jupiter is stationing direct. Its immense benevolence can expand your life in grounded Venusian ways. Look to the house that Jupiter in Taurus is transiting in your chart to see what's ready to bloom in your life. Speaking of blooming, find your pot of gold. Discover your luck profile. This is a new chart that I've designed that looks at asteroids associated with luck, fortune, and abundance. And this will give a roadmap to how luck, chance, fortune, abundance manifest in your life. What the sources are and what some of the blocks might be. So you can get a really good sense of your personal relationship with luck. Finally, thank you. Thank you for using astrology as a tool for understanding yourselves and our world. I appreciate you and look forward to seeing you next week.